Shamans, we understand, cause we take shamans. Dude, I got this cool thing to show you. Really, man? Yeah, it's far out and technical and stuff. Awesome. Yeah. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Cool.
Fix it. You have access.
I know.
Hey, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Tech Shamans. Holy cow. It's okay. So if you hear noise in the background, we have a massive storm coming in, and we have the new tap room that's coming in the same plaza that we're in, and the guys, they're cutting metal shit. So just let everybody know. Yeah. Good morning, Anthony.
I'm thinking Penn and Teller today.
Oh, they don't want to hear me talk. I mean, I already talk most of the time anyway. They don't want to hear me talk even more.
Okay, that's fine. Trust me, I can take that time away from you
How
without
was your
any
week
trouble.
last week?
I don't remember. I wasn't there.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, it was just a blur.
Let's go to the medium shot. I don't like the double shot right now.
Yeah, we don't need the double shot. We're both sitting right here.
We're both sitting right here.
This is still like.
Is it me or is it crooked?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
No, I think I'm crooked.
It's crooked.
Let me sit straight. No, let me sit off. That's okay. By the way, yes, this is how technology works when you're in the studio. You get the shots all set up. You work on it really, really hard. And then as soon as it goes live, you go, how did we miss that?
How did we miss that?
We're crooked.
We're crooked.
We were intensely focused on centering the line on the camera, so much so that we missed the fact that John's is apparently
OCD.
4 inches taller than me all of a sudden.
Oh, that's weird. Anyway.
All right. Well,
it was a good. Last week was a good week.
yeah, I guess.
I mean, there's a lot of technology.
There was a ton of technology stuff going on. I mean, we've got one heck of a list here today.
Yeah, some of this stuff I brought from last week because we do our shows on Monday, so we prep week forward. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Sometimes we talk about something that's already happened.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, hey, this is new, but it's not new.
We try to talk about stuff that's going to happen, but often there's things that have happened that you need to know about.
The government told me to stop looking forward 7 days, so it's
That was a great show, by the way.
Was a
7
great
days. I really like that show.
Was a good movie.
Yeah. Conundrum. But
you watch any videos this weekend? You watch any catch up on any shows?
Yeah, actually, I finished the second season of The Umbrella Academy.
That was good, wasn't it?
Man, it was good.
It was good.
I mean, I'm watching this thing, and I'm like, this show is just like hitting its groove. It is good stuff.
Yep.
And then I also decided to click over to Disney and watch Artemis Fowl. And I can tell you that there was a lot of fan uproar because it wasn't like the books, and you know how fans are. If it isn't exactly like the books,
they can't shut their minds off.
I watched like the first half, and I'm like, this has got a great premise. This is looking really good.
Right.
I see this, and then we get to the second half, and stuff just starts happening that has no explanation. Continuity editor fell asleep, and it's like, this doesn't even make sense.
Did they fire
the artifact
writer?
was here, and now it's here, and there's no explanation of how it got moved. And so it's just that kind of stuff that just completely screws up a movie for me.
And when
it's gaping errors.
Yeah, and when you're in this industry, that's a big.
Yeah.
Oh crap! You got to be kidding me, really?
Yeah.
You didn't catch that?
I know. It's just stupid stuff like that. And so Artemis Fowl got like, a C- at best. It was a great premise, great start, but that was it.
I watched Below Decks.
Really? Oh, the new Star Trek one.
Okay, so everybody was like, "John, you're not gonna like this," and I gotta fix Anthony's mic. Hold on 1 second.
Needs to fix my mic.
Yeah, it's gotta come down a little bit because when you look towards me,
my face disappears.
This is these things that should have been done, but I didn't.
I know, but now you see how technology works here in the studios.
So it's a cartoon,
and you can see me.
And it's got a lot of bad language in it, so just be prepared.
So it's adult animation,
and it's literally about what happens below decks
for the rest of the crew.
Yes,
it's interesting because they started something like that with Star Trek Discovery, because they had Discovery below decks as well, and so you got to meet a lot of this. They even had an episode of it, I think, in which the show was it Was that in Discovery? Where the show was completely focused on 3 people that you'd never get to meet otherwise.
Yeah.
And that was an awesome episode because you got to see, it's like, I got to go empty the trash cans, that kind of thing that you'd never see otherwise. Yep. And, these 3 people ended up being instrumental to a mission, but not as you'd ever have seen them in one of the actual normal episodes.
Right.
Because they were never interacting with the main cast and crew. They would pass them in the hallway, morning, Captain, and that was all you'd get.
Right. Yeah.
But that's what it was really like to be on the Enterprise, which, by the way, enrollment for Space Force dropped off something fierce after that.
That sucks. Because
I'm just kidding. There was no Space Force at that time.
Real jobs, right?
Yeah, I know, real jobs.
But yeah, so it's cute.
All right. I'll give it a try.
I watched it, and everybody's like, "Oh, John, you're gonna hate this because you're such a Star Trek person," and I'm like, I am a Star Trek person.
Mm-hmm.
But I see the humor in, because you never really do, and you never, no show ever goes into what happens below decks or what happens. So it's kind of funny.
No, it's when you go to the bathroom.
But this is not this is not about the Enterprise.
No,
it's just it's one of the fleet.
It's just one of the fleet.
Yeah, So it was pretty good. And then my wife got me hooked on, and I know it's an old show that's on Amazon.
Which one's that?
Bosch.
Haven't watched it.
She's read all the books.
Oh.
So it's kind of funny. I got to watch with her. Well, I watched some movies that I haven't seen in a while last night or this weekend. Mm-hmm. I also smoked ribs, which is I can
not its own.
I can
disclaimer.
cook. I can cook, and I cook well, right? I'm not a chef, but I cook. I mean, very well. But I've never really smoked. Everybody's done hamburgers and hot dogs and chickens, but I've never been a smoking guy. I'm going to tell you what, man. These ribs were like freaking awesome. And it's 6 hours.
Take your word for it.
Hours.
Take your word for it.
I know.
I'm a vegetarian, as some people know.
I know. I don't know.
So it's like, that's nice.
I'll bring over some garden burgers and we'll
there we go. No, I'll just go ahead and smoke my black bean burgers.
But I
make my own.
But I watched the movie or the show Bosch.
Okay.
And
what's it about?
He's an LA detective.
Okay.
And but he's an LA detective that's always in trouble because he'll do what it takes to solve the case,
right?
Instead of playing the politics crap,
right?
He's all about getting it done.
Got it.
So, and he's
sounds like Jim Gordon from Gotham, kind
of.
Yeah.
He's also he's half brothers to the Lincoln Lawyer, right?
Okay.
Which we all know who the Lincoln Lawyer is, right?
We all know. No.
You don't?
No.
Oh, that's
you're
another
generalization.
It's the writer of this book, and then it comes to find out that the Lincoln Lawyer and Bosch are half brothers, and their dad's actually this high-end criminal attorney that's in L.A. because both their moms were the same hooker. Oh, it gets deep, man. This is interesting.
See, for me, I go as far as watching Murdoch Mysteries, which is set in like 1899.
I know,
and that's where I go. So
talking about hookers and your stepbrothers, Mozilla and Google renewed Firefox.
Uncle Daddy. Yeah.
Same daddy.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. No, same mamas, different daddy, I think here, because what you've got is the basic, code that you're working with. So maybe that is the dad, is then being shared on 2 different platforms. Right. But because of their agreement, the default search engine in Firefox is still going to be Google. And so if you don't want Google as your default search engine because you know what that means, then you go ahead and you have to go into your settings and you can go ahead and change it to anything else in the world.
Right.
And, pretty much everything is there in Firefox. You just got to go up to settings and change it. That way, Google will not continue to amass its information about you.
But it's all based on the Chromium open source.
Well, yeah.
Which is ultimately Google.
Well, it is, but
so say if I have Firefox or Mozilla, and I go in and say, okay,
Firefox, yeah.
Don't use Google, use
Bing. Edge, Bing, whatever. Yeah.
It's on the Chromium. That they're also on the Chromium.
Well, yeah, they're all on the Chromium open source kind of platform.
So you can't tell me
the
Google
fact
doesn't have some crap in there that's buried.
That's the key. Is does Google have code in there? And I'm going to say, It's a tough call because you can also get Chrome downloaded onto your iPhone.
It's a hard knock
Life for us. I don't know where that came from, but I love it. That's from Little Orphan Annie, in case anybody's wondering. Annie, the musical. Yeah, we're doing show tunes now. We're in real trouble.
We've gone from tech to show tunes. Hey,
yeah, from Star Trek to tech to show tunes.
Showman this weekend. Too.
Oh, you did see that one? Yeah,
that's a great movie.
It was a very fun movie.
So I'm the movie guy. I'm the tech shaman for video. So to me, because there's not a ton of changes in the video
thought the videography in that movie was amazing.
Oh my God.
Thought the story was great. The lyrics
It was
needed
wrong,
the lyrics
but it was
needed
great.
Of course it was. It was theater. But the story the lyrics needed more work. They needed more refinement. They're very clumsy compared to a lot of the things we're hearing coming out, and that was for me kind of a drag on the whole thing because the lyrics, the rhyming schemes and everything. The rhyming schemes were excellent, but the words they chose were poor.
Right.
And it definitely was not a Mencken, kind of production that you'd get in, to compare it to Beauty and the Beast or Aladdin or something like that, where the lyrics are just clever as hell. And then you get into that, and it's like, your sweat dripping through the floor. That's not even an actual phrase that anyone has ever used in ever. Okay? And so why is it your third line in your first song? So yeah, just that kind of thing.
Yeah. So
not
anyway,
that I
back
pay
to
attention
Google.
to that. Back to Google
Chromium
because they're listening.
If you go to use Firefox, you're going to be using Google.
Yeah.
As far as
most likely, unless you change it out, and then set your. The nice thing about Firefox is it allows you to set your privacy settings really strong. Okay, whereas Chrome is like, you have no privacy settings.
And this all becomes because Mozilla needed money. I'll put money on it. I'll guarantee you they're hurting.
They might be, because Chrome is running 80-90% of all.
That's where Google got their money is from the government.
Well, yeah.
I know that theory's not been proven, but I still think it's because they went from nothing to holy crap, where these guys come from, where'd this money come from?
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of money in Silicon Valley at the time,
Exactly.
too. But
so here's something that I kind of find interesting, that Facebook is going to start merging their Instagram and Messenger chats in the new update.
There are so many people who don't like Facebook who love Instagram.
I know, and they don't realize that they're the same people.
And no, they do realize.
Do they really?
And they are getting really upset watching the encroachment and the changes and the monetization policies and everything else is just becoming, like mini-me of Facebook.
Yep.
And they're hating on it, something fierce, and rightfully so, because it's like, the reason and this is exactly why I talk about the big companies buying the little companies and there's no competition. Instagram had a completely unique concept and platform, and it was great, and it attracted a very specific market, and then Facebook said, I want your users, and just hauled them over and hauled them in, and now they're going, and now we're just changing it over so that it's all Facebook again. And where's the uniqueness, where's the and again, and what's the answer? Well, yeah, but the people at Instagram made a fortune, they made all this money, so they sold it out, and that's good for them. Yeah, but society as a whole loses when this happens, and that's okay. Political soapbox.
Right.
But watching Instagram get basically cannibalized by Facebook is what's happening. We're watching them, bring in, the Eiffel Tower, and they're scrapping it piece by piece, saying, no, don't you want to look at this, bunker over here instead?
I know.
And that's kind of what's going on. So yeah. What's next?
So in 2012 they bought Instagram for $1 billion.
Yep.
And then in 2014 they bought the WhatsApp for $19 billion.
Yep. And I'll tell you what.
And they're making
Instagram is bigger than WhatsApp. I mean, WhatsApp just kind of faded away.
Everybody kept it. Use WhatsApp? Nope. I do not.
Nope. And Instagram was
bad
the
enough.
jewel.
I use Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
So,
but no, Instagram still got an amazing algorithm for the ability to tag people. I've watched people on there do some really cool stuff to get the attention of manufacturers and everything to build their brand that way.
Yep.
And it's really neat because I just watched somebody last week. They put up a post. They tagged the manufacturer. The manufacturers picked up their posts.
Yeah.
And basically retweeted it. Pardon the phrase. They reshared it, And it's just like phenomenal. Suddenly, so many more likes, so much more attention, so much everything going on. And that's how Instagram works. You don't have to like apply to be somebody's friend. And you can just share their stuff, and they can go, hey, thank you for sharing mine. Wow, that was really cool. I like what you did. Here you go. Now I'm going to put you in front of my 40,000 fans.
Well, I mean, that's how
Facebook.
that. I don't know if you saw the story or not. There was this, and again, I know this is not tech, but in a way, it is tech.
Mm-hmm.
So tech helped this kid in Africa who wanted to be a ballet dancer.
Okay.
Right, and he did this whole video on the. They showed him dancing on his own in the rain, in the mud, no shoes, and he was. I mean, I don't know that much about ballet other than the fact that the girls are hot in their little skimpy outfits. But this dude was gracious, man. I mean, he was young, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess some high-end Instagrammers and stuff like that saw him,
some influencers.
shared it.
Yeah,
he got a scholarship to the New York.
Ballet company? No kidding.
Yeah.
Or ballet school.
Or school, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy
not Juilliard,
crap,
but yeah, wow.
That's awesome.
That's the thing is, and how good is that for the school now?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. And the school gets major wow points for that one.
And that goes back to, okay, so if you didn't watch Friday night's Nerd Talk, go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Because there was a kid that used his mother's credit card and spent $20,000, $20,000 giving money to all these online Twitch people, and some of the people that he gave to didn't need his money.
Not by any stretch.
No.
You know, you're talking professional athletes.
The mom got upset and was like, oh my God, how do I get my money back? And finally, someone on Reddit told her, this is the people that you need to go see. And actually, this is foreshadowing, by the way.
Yeah.
This is who you need to go see about the credit card processing. And the credit card processing company, she went to them and got, I think it was like $19,700 something dollars back.
Almost all of it.
But here's the thing. Those rich guys that this kid gave money to could have wrote a smoking check back. Here, Mom, here's your money, and made it about them in a good way.
Right. Yeah, they could have taken that narrative and been heroes across the spectrum.
Nope, they didn't.
Every one of them is like, I'm not giving the money back. I'm not giving the money back.
giving them money back.
And it's like, dude,
it's your fault.
Yeah. And that was just a huge opportunity missed because unlike this company, that just absolutely nailed it.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, missed opportunity.
Golly.
Yeah. So
let me introduce this next segment because, man, I know exactly where you're going with this, and I'm just telling you right now.
Yep.
So how many times has someone asked you when you're talking to a web guy, okay, you have a website, right? And the first question is, well, do you own your website? And like, oh, no, my web guy bought it for me, and it's okay. I trust him, and blah, 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 blah. And next thing you know, you don't got a website.
Oh, worse than that.
Let's talk about
You got somebody else's website.
No,
here's your domain name, which I like to refer to as your mailbox. Okay, it's got your address on it, and it's where people know they can deliver your mail. That's your domain name. Okay, I'm not talking about email. Just run with me on the metaphor.
www.
Which, by the way, you don't have to type www anymore. But whatever your URL is, that's your mailbox. Now you can put your mailbox in front of any house you want. And that's where, if somebody goes looking for you, they're going to find that piece of property back in the background. Your hosting account is the property. Okay? And so now what you're doing is you're buying a property behind it. And what you then do is your website is your house. So you build the house on the property that is your actual, domain or your hosting account. And then in front is your mailbox so people can find you. That's your domain name. That's how websites work. Imagine for a minute you're saying, no, I'm okay putting all my possessions, all my belongings, all my credit card information, all my everything, inside this house that is actually, I'm kind of renting it. I don't really have that much of an agreement because he's a great guy and he doesn't make me sign anything. Okay, and so I'm renting it. I'm renting the land and he built the house and I don't even own the mailbox.
Yep.
And you wake up one day and your best buddy who was doing this for you. Turns out the last couple weeks, last couple months, business hasn't been very good for him. So he finds somebody who's willing to buy his whole business.
Fire sale.
Yep, fire sale on the account, and they're going to give him $10,000. Get his butt out of a jam, whatever it is, but they're just going to buy his whole business. You wake up Monday morning to a notice. You go log into your website, and it says, "Hi, we have bought your domain name, and if you wish to have your website back and functioning, please use this address to send us $3,500, okay, in order to get your website back." It is a legal theft of your property because it was never your property.
Yep.
And I'm going to show exactly what happens because originally this was a $3,500 deal. They've dropped the price. Rob, you can go ahead and bring that up. This is an account that called me. He was a friend of mine from school who says, "You deal with this stuff. What do I do?" Because he came in and he was AmericanTreeWorks.com. And they wanted $3,500 now, suddenly on Monday morning, okay, for him to have his website back. Now, his website was not a big deal, but he had just finished doing a lot of marketing. You can see here, you can save $100 if you buy it now. Okay, it's only $20.95 instead of $21.95 just to get the domain name. The website's been gone for a couple of years now. And naturally, he never bought it back, but he lost it. And so what we ended up doing was a lot of remediation. We could not prove that it was ever his domain name or website. It was never registered to his company. And even if somebody else buys your domain name for you and keeps it in their account, they might, if they're decent, still register it as your company within it, even though they own it. Because I'm in a situation right now where we're dealing with that, where we have a corporation out of, I think, Michigan, that fortunately is listed as the corporate entity.
That's in the ICANN, right?
Yeah, it's in the ICANN. And so they have it listed as theirs. And GoDaddy, because this was becoming such a problem, has now instituted a new service, which is really stupid easy to use. And they finally formalized the process, and you can use it for basically anything you want to get your arms around as long as you can prove it was yours and it was stolen. It's not from WeCraft, that's something else. Oh. But what it is it's from changeupdate.com. And you won't get much there if you look at it. But changeupdate.com allows you to begin the process of taking back your domain name.
Spell if I spell it right.
It helps you spell it right, John. But it lets you take back your domain name. And normally this process used to take weeks because you had to go back and forth. You had to fax them information. You had to get information back. You had to go through all this crap to prove, get started, to prove that you were actually the entity that rightfully owned this. This is especially useful if hackers have stolen your domain name, which is another problem entirely. Okay, and that's where you use two-factor authorization. You can do all sorts of great things to keep it locked. But in this case, they have put something together that will allow you to go reclaim your domain name at least, okay? Because once you have the mailbox, you can build the rest again, and that's what we did. We couldn't get the mailbox back on that tree service, so what we did was we hyphenated it. Okay, American-treeservices.com. And so we got a new .com, and we rebuilt them a whole new presence. Then we went out to all the social medias. We changed everything. We changed the YouTube links. We changed all that stuff so that it all drove to the new site. So we were able to save it. And, because literally he's my oldest living friend in the world. We met in kindergarten. Okay. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this for like nothing. Right. So it ended up costing him less than the $3,500 that they wanted, to get everything rebuilt. But that was that's the point is own your domain name. Own your hosting account. It's no big deal. I mean, if you want to do these things, we can help you right here. We can get you set up. We can migrate your websites. If your websites are already on GoDaddy, that makes it super easy. If it's a WordPress site, that makes it even easier. Okay, but the fact is, you need to be the one who owns these accounts. So if something goes wrong, you get an email pop-up that somebody just changed your password. That's what you need in order to prevent you not getting hacked.
Right.
That happened to me in 2012. I suddenly get an email that my account, my password has changed on my GoDaddy account.
So I had a web guy.
Yeah.
And once we built the website,
Yeah.
he had me take screenshots of the website
Okay.
and put them. I put those images away. I took every page.
Yeah.
And I post a screenshot. So if I ever had to go back and say, when someone goes, well, that you never had that website, here's the website with the URL, everything up top. I mean, it showed everything. And then because when you take a screenshot like that, in your details of your image, is the date created.
Is the date you created. There is an easier way to do that now.
Well, I know, but back then, that's how we did it.
But the Wayback Machine.
The Wayback Machine.
I love the Wayback Machine.
Yeah. Way back when.
If you type in waybackmachine.com, it actually takes you to archive.org.
Oh,
and you can look at any date of any website, okay, and it's locked in, the date they scanned it and what it looks like.
Yep.
So if your website has been scanned by them, then you have a history. And I can't tell you, we have used that.
Is that waybackmachine.com?
I think so, yeah. We have used that, and it is unbelievably valuable because if you needed to do an update or something and you lost it, no, just go to archive.org, okay? But it is a fantastic resource if you've lost articles. If you need anything, you need to look back on their calendar. You can go back and find stuff that you posted 5 years ago. You can find that look that you came up with that you really liked, and now everything is crashed and dead, and you forgot to make a backup. I can't tell you, man. We have used backups 3 times in the last week to save websites because there was a problem with a plugin. Or actually, there's a problem with the code in the software itself for the website, and so we were able to go back and grab an archived copy of it just from the day before, and go through, reload it, rebuild it. Boom! The only thing we lost was the last 12, 14 hours of activity, but it completely salvaged the website. And so there's a lot of things we can do that will really work well. For making sure that you own it, you have it, it's yours, and nobody can take it from you. And if they do take it from you, you can get it back. And I didn't get a chance to say this in the change update. They took that process that had been 60 to 90 days, and they've got it down to 3 to 5 business days.
That is awesome.
That is freaking awesome. You can get your website back.
We used a lot of Flash back then.
Yep. So, yeah, this is and it's neat because within archive.org, you also can go through your whole website. You can click on the links. You can see all the inside pages. You can grab that blog post that you really, really loved from the website that you let go of and no longer have.
Right.
You can still go back and find it. It is not gone. Remember, the internet never forgets. It just hides it until your court date. Yeah,
your naked pictures are out there.
Yeah. I just made that phrase up, but I think it's going to be a meme by the end of the day. So, yeah. But this is
it's important.
Yeah,
it's important.
It really is.
The first thing that if you don't today, if you don't have your website, you need to go to your buddy that bought your website and say, transfer that and start a GoDaddy account.
Yep.
Now I go GoDaddy because they help Webeam TV and Tampa Bay Multimedia.
No.
So
I've been with GoDaddy for 2 decades.
Yeah. So go to GoDaddy, start your own account, and then put a transfer request in for your website so it's in your name and you own it.
Yep. Anybody that'll give me a 99.7% uptime guarantee, I will take. Thank you.
It was 7 years ago. We had a client come in and said, "Hey, I can't get my website back from my web guy," and I'm like, "Well, why not? Do you own your URL?" "Well, no, they bought it for me."
Yep.
I'm like, "That means they own it."
Yep.
"But it's mine." I said, "Well, that means they own it." I said,
"No, it's theirs."
What? So I said, what's the URL name? And it was their company name.
Yep.
I said, so we'll have. There's 2 ways of doing this. Is you got to pay the extortion rate.
Yep.
Or you're going to have to get an attorney, which is going to probably cost you 4 times the amount.
They're working on a mediation
and to go after a guy.
Now. Yeah.
And they did. They got there, and it cost them. I think they made them pay. They sued for, but because he was the same way. He was out of money. He couldn't do it. He couldn't even pay his own server bill. So he sold the business to be able to And he stayed on
Same
as their
story.
administrator.
Yep.
So he could get money
So
coming in.
he's still there. Yep.
So because he did that, that's what helped them out.
Yeah.
So they literally went to eminent domain
Yep.
because it's the name of their business, and
you can do that if it is.
Yes.
But I mean, eBay would never have been able to do that.
Nope.
Because eBay was not the name of the actual company.
Nope.
It was just he was Bay-E in a storage facility.
Right.
And that's where eBay came from.
Bay-E.
Yeah. And so Google could never have done that.
Right.
Because it's a search engine and the name of the company is Alphabet. So, yeah. That's
acronyms.
enough about web stuff.
Yeah.
But
So let's talk about
contact us
something-
if you have any issues.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
can get you through it one way or another.
Text Shamans at WeBeamTV.com, and I'll get you over to Anthony. He'll take care of you. I don't do them anymore. I have headaches from websites. I just don't want to. I don't ever want to see them again.
And I love them. I eat them for breakfast.
Let's do something kind of interesting.
Okay.
Now I know this is more into the nerd world, but I keep getting people will email me and go, "Hey John, what service should I really have? Should I have cable or should I have this?" And blah blah blah. And what I tell people is it's kind of strictly what is your goal?
Right.
Do you want to watch instant news and then get a little bit of fluff in between, or do you want the fluff in between and don't want the news and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
And
It's about when you want to watch something.
And are you an aggressive watcher? Are you watch the minute you come home, you turn it on, or do you just pop it up when you need white noise?
Right.
So all these. All of a sudden, everybody had their own streaming service.
Oh my God, Peacock.
DC, Peacock, blah blah blah. Well, DC has, first of all, DC fired
600 people
600
last
something.
week.
Yeah, it's like holy crap. But in another
bad
article,
week
they
to be in
said
the
we
comic world.
are still dedicated to comic books. I think they just figured out. You know what? It's okay. I'm a Blue Oceans person. You know what that is, right? Okay, so when I set a business model up, I want to be in a blue ocean, not a red ocean. A blue ocean means there's less blood in the water, there's less competition.
Okay.
Nobody was doing what I'm doing. All of a sudden, it's amazing. All of a sudden, COVID hits, and everybody and their freaking brother's a streamer
Yeah.
because they're using Streamlabs or blah 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 whatever, right? But when we set this up, I was in a blue ocean. There wasn't a lot of competition. There really still isn't a lot of competition for me. All these people using Streamlabs in their home, it's all junk, and it looks like shit. Sorry, it just does. And
I am so tired of looking up people's noses.
So we do what we do as professionals. So we're still kind of semi-blue, but the red ocean is where everybody went to. DC, Peacock, Netflix, Amazon, Hulu.
Well, just run down the list.
Now all of a sudden it's like HBO Go, Cinemax Go, blah blah blah,
Disney
Cinemax Max, blah blah blah. So everybody's got their own streaming app. So I think what DC said is like, you know what, mother company can take care of all this crap.
Yes.
Because DC is ultimately about comics. That's their start.
Yeah.
They're in the comic book business, so why don't they just go back and I think
let other people distribute for us. Have a nice day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, do what we're best at.
Okay, so it's still going to HBO is still mama company because it's still Warner.
Yep.
So
exactly.
it's going in the right place.
Yeah.
So DC Universe's original shows, all their stuff, they're from their DC their streaming service. They're pushing everything over to HBO, and you know what? Let them do it because first of all, HBO, that's what they're known for is content.
Yes.
I mean, the Marvel movies are made better and they look better, but you don't see Marvel streaming service.
No.
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 You know why? Because that's not what they do. What they do is they make comic books, and then
they make comic books and they make movies,
and then
that's it.
And their comic book you turn it. Let the movie makers do that. Let Marvel stick to their purity. Let DC stick to their purity. Dark Horse.
You know
stick
what?
To your purity.
Yeah, and
that's where you belong.
And you know what? It really is an interesting comparison because you wouldn't expect. You've got these comic book creators. I know. Let's add on. Let's start making these into movies, and so they open their own studio.
Right.
You're not going to get very good movies.
No.
You're just not.
No, because
you let the movies be made by the people that know how to make the movies, and which is kind of where Artemis Fowl, I think, fell apart. But
how about that?
Yeah, really, a total wraparound here. But So, and then let the distribution be handled by the people who know how to handle distribution.
Yes.
And, back when Disney first started, Buena Vista was their distribution arm.
Yes.
For their movies. And it was funny because, half of the reason they went with Buena Vista was because they wanted to get the Disney name off it. And I know that sounds weird, but they wanted the Disney name off it because Disney's just for kids. Disney's just kids' movies. And so they wanted to branch out and do more things than what was just available under the Disney moniker. And so Buena Vista then became the distribution channel for both of them. And so now, we're kind of doing sort of the same thing. We're ramping up. They're pulling all this stuff in because people are going to want 3, maybe 5 streaming services. They're going to dump cable.
Yep.
And so you're going to pick, it isn't picking one. It's picking 3 to 5 because that is about the same as your cable bill.
And, Apple TV came out with it where if you join the big Apple side of it, it covers some of your subscriptions to the things that they know you're going to HBO, Cinemax, blah, 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 Hulu, ESPN.
Yeah. And that's just like Disney. Going to your cable company and getting the packages. You remember back in the 80s? Yeah. You had to sit there and pick your packages. And you could never get HBO and Cinemax in the same freaking package.
I have spent more. I spend more now on streaming services than I did on cable.
Yeah. Well, I got rid of cable in 2004 when I realized I was paying $10 an hour.
Yeah. You're cutting the cord.
I was online, 16 years ago.
But ultimately, that's what's happening. Yeah. So DC, it used to be once a year we would go to NAPTI in Vegas.
Yeah.
To try to sell our shows, and you talk to about 15 people.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
There was 15 distributors. Now, God.
Yeah.
And here's the problem: half of those guys don't have the money to buy anyway.
No.
They'll sit you into a deal where we'll split the revenue, blah, 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 advertising, all that kind of stuff. And then it's like...
And there's no money down because they're all building.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, other than, you got Netflix, you got Amazon.
Oh, sure.
Hulu is not. Hulu is just a streaming service that takes everybody else's crap.
Yeah.
They don't produce...
Yeah.
Well,
and how many of those are there? Oh, my God.
I know there's some producers, there's some stuff they do pay. It's their own content, but they're not paying.
I hooked up with one that was giving me, because I wanted to watch a certain program live every Tuesday night.
Right.
And I unfortunately didn't realize, how off I was with that calculation. And it was like $49 a month.
Yeah.
For a service that would allow you to basically stream what was on the History Channel. And I'm like, that's insane. And that's when it dawned on me, after the first month, I went, what am I being stupid? I can buy the whole series on Apple. Okay, and then they will give it to me at midnight. That the next morning I'll have it.
Yep.
So I'm 8 hours behind. Who cares? Nobody notices. I've watched it before I get on the phone the next day anyway. So yeah, and for $25 I own the whole series.
Right.
That was the only reason I was going there.
I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna move this.
Okay.
I'm gonna move this. So the next thing we're gonna talk about is.
This is a big one.
Oh, here we go. This may eat up the rest of it. Yeah. So Apple stumbled into a war with the gaming industry, and the future of iOS is at stake.
That is what you call clickbait headline. But
right.
Go.
It's not. Right. Okay. So what happened is, and I'm gonna, Rob, you got that video? Play the video while we. And then we'll come back and talk about it real quick.
Somebody.
Today, we celebrate the anniversary of the Platform Unification Directives. For years, they have given us their songs, their labor, their dreams. In exchange, we have taken our tribute, our profits, our control. This power is ours and ours alone. We shall prevail.
Oh, poor Fortnite. Oh,
Poor
hold on. Let me shed a tear. Hold on.
Good luck.
Nope, it won't come out.
Won't come out.
Let me. If I push hard enough, maybe.
Yeah, but that's not for them.
Okay, so here's the deal.
That's for your finger.
I know everybody's heard about this. Okay. And again, you're probably thinking this is nerd, but in a world, this is this is where
this is really important.
Yeah, this is important
Because this goes across all sectors of the economy.
Exactly. So what happened was Apple kicked Fortnite out of the App Store.
Right.
Right now, so
why did they kick them out? Because they didn't like the name?
No.
Because they didn't like how much money they were making? Why?
When you come to a company and says, all right, look, this is my platform, and this is how you can be on my platform. You got to follow my rules.
Right.
And you go, oh, yeah, we went on there because you have billions of people.
Right.
Billions, not millions.
You have a billion phones out there that we can be
people
on.
out there that are using your product, and they want to be seen, right?
Yep.
So, oh, yeah, we want to be on there. So you got to follow the rules. Well, the problem is you have to follow the rules.
Yes.
So Apple said, hey, you're out because you're not following our in-app purchases like we tell you to.
Right.
In other words, Fortnite wants to be on there, but they don't want Apple to get any of that processing money for those.
Right.
And it does not work that way, folks.
No. I mean, and for me, the fact of the matter is this is a platform that Apple has built, and it belongs to Apple, and they can run it any way they damn well please. And if the way they choose to run it is to say, no, if you're going to do in-app purchases, it has to go through us because we want to make sure that it's legit and because we want to make sure that we get compensated because we're hosting all this stuff for you and you aren't paying for it.
Right.
Okay? You are not paying us a 1 red cent to put this out there.
Right.
And so what you end up doing is no. The bottom line is no. You may not take someone else's business and tell them how to run it. Yep. Unless it is a monopoly. And obviously this is not a monopoly because look at all the other phone providers that are out there that Fortnite is still playing on, okay,
Not on
where
Google.
it's available.
It got knocked out of
That's
Google
right. They got
Store,
knocked out of
too.
Google for the same thing.
Why? Because Google Store says if you're going to do an in-app purchase, we
get our
that's 30%
percentage.
fee. So that's what
Yeah.
they want. They don't want to lose that 30%
Nope.
fee. Because
No.
I'll tell you what, I'll take 30% of 500 million people.
Well, especially, I don't care, if they're only paying $1 a piece per year. Okay, that's still a damn good living.
Yep.
And the fact is, if this wins, and they're being sued right now, if this wins, then what you are looking at is I can go out and I can invent a new case for a cell phone. And then I can go and tell Walmart that they have to sell it because they're discriminating against me if they don't put my phone case in all of their stores.
That's right.
Even though Walmart may look at it and go, we don't sell $900 phone cases. We don't want to. You're like, you have to carry it. Otherwise, you're discriminating against me.
Mob
Imagine
mentality. Crap.
this for a minute, which is actually more to scale. Okay, and that is imagine Walmart suing Target because they won't carry Sam's brand goods.
Yeah.
That's really what it's all about.
Yep.
Is going in there and forcing someone to sell your product because you want them to. And that's it. Sorry, no, you do not get to rewrite the rules of the contract. Which, by the way, in order to get Fortnite on the Apple platform, the Google platform, they signed a contract. They then broke that contract by subverting the code inside their app.
So then Epic turns around and is suing Apple now.
Right.
Which
because
is
they're enforcing their
crazy.
contract. How dare they?
Why
I mean,
don't you
what
just
does
pay
contract
them
law
the
mean?
30% for God's sake.
And I can get that if everybody were, if it were a monopoly, then yeah, what you'd have to do is say, gee, is 30% fair? Okay, because I can go else, or I can't go anywhere else. But of course, now that both Google and Apple have shut them down, they may be able to say, oh, well, these two are in collusion. Hate to use the word. Okay. And bad orange man, bad orange. And but they might be able to say that these two powerful forces are colluding to crush this particular business. But the fact of the matter is, this particular business wants to utilize their platform for free.
Yep.
And that is not kosher.
Nope.
Ever. No. That's like, me running, a video on YouTube and telling, YouTube that they can't put anybody else's, follow-up next videos on my page.
Right.
Despite the fact that those follow-up next videos are always monetized.
Yep.
Even if mine is not, the next video they suggest will be. Because they will get to keep 70%. In that case, the numbers are flipped. Okay, they get to keep 70% of the revenue from that ad.
Yep.
And, it's like, I don't want you to tell them to watch other people's stuff after my free video is done. I want them to watch another one of my free videos.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can't tell YouTube to do that. And, it's just across the boards. If you're going to have free services, then this is how you're going to pay for it. And you got to agree to that. And they're putting your stuff out there for free, so this is how you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay 30% of your in-app purchases. So there we go.
So
my take on it.
Boy, it's a mess. Because you want to support
everybody. Yeah.
But you got to look, here's the thing.
But that means everybody.
If you're going to be on the platform that someone else has built, you just got to follow the rules. If you don't want to follow the rules, well, then don't be on their platform.
Yeah.
So when they kick you off, you can't go, well, I'm mad. Well, why are you mad? You can't be mad. You weren't following the freaking rules.
Yeah.
Follow the rules.
If enough people get mad, maybe we'll change our rules.
Yeah.
But in essence, when I buy an Apple phone, it's because I know that what I'm getting is based on all those terms and service agreements.
Yep.
And I don't want open source crap. I don't want stuff creeping in. I don't want a bunch of games that Apple hasn't actually approved the code on sneaking onto my phone.
Nope.
Because then you end up with something like a Huawei. And where are we at with that?
Huawei's expired U.S. license is bad news for phone owners.
Yes.
And they lost their license because of one of the biggest thing I think it is. It's the fact that it's a security risk.
Yep.
And it's kind of funny that it's all Android phones.
Well, of course. Apple doesn't have anything to do with it. And so all your Androids are out there, and certain Android models are going to fall off. Now, what's interesting is in the article, it says they're going to fall off from auto updates. But it looks like you'll be able to get backdoor patches and go find websites that are carrying updates. And, I'm sorry, but nothing could be safer than, taking the first one that comes up in a search and going there and downloading this software onto your phone that obviously is only going to come from reputable people who are trying to help this company subvert the law and the licensing agreements that are out there. So obviously they're honest, because they're trying to subvert the rules. So you want to trust them with the security of your phone. Think about that before you go ahead and click that update from some unknown source.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter where the source is coming from, because if it's not going through the right channels, which is why I love Apple, you are facing massive security risks.
Right.
And so they're forcing themselves into that situation, but they did it in the first place by putting, software into their into their software that was a security risk and allowed backdoor entrance.
Imagine, okay, let's run it this way.
Yep.
I'm an NSA guy.
Yep.
Right. And I don't have an Apple iPhone. I have a Android that's got all these chips in there, and I am sitting there guarding, or I'm protecting some high-end, and I'm in a high-end meeting.
Yep.
Next thing you know, my phone is transmitting top secret stuff to the Chinese.
It's just your geolocation, because they know who you are, okay, and they're going to geo-track you, and then they're going to be able to do a drone strike on you.
Yep.
Because guess what? We hacked your phone. And how do you think we keep getting these guys in the Middle East, these terrorists in Afghanistan and everything?
Shh, don't say that.
It's because they're using their phones. And they're not iPhones. They're using Android phones.
How many Born, the Born series does it. All the Bond series.
Of course.
The Hobbs and Shaw is a good. The first things they say to their techs, get me that phone.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. And there it is. There's a conversation. Listen
Yeah.
and track it. And you see, okay,
when
here's-
you've got phones that can be hacked, that have microphones that are on all the time, which I think if anybody thinks the microphone is not on all the time, you're crazy, because I
You're
can
smoking
say,
crack.
"Hey Siri," and she answers. I have it turned off right now for the program.
Ooh, hey.
You turned yours on though, and it turned on the one over here on my iPad. I forgot to turn that one off. But how does it do that unless it's listening?
Right.
Okay, and the fact is it's listening. And sure, it's not storing anything supposedly, but you won't know if somebody takes over that mic.
That is correct.
And they are now in your room and they are listening. And now we're talking about government officials. We're talking about any level. We're talking about bank business. We're talking about, you shouting your password to, your daughter in the other room so she can log into the Netflix account. Okay, guess what? That password is probably the same password you have on your bank account.
I find it really funny that everybody and their brother covers their webcams, but they don't give a crap about their microphone.
Yeah.
That microphone's more damaging than that freaking
Yeah,
video
really.
is.
Because how often do you hold up information in front of your?
Yeah, they're listening.
You
They're not. I mean, if they can watch, they're going to watch.
But you'll
but
talk about it.
Yeah.
And where you're going and what you're going to be doing when you're going to be out of the house next.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody ready to leave for the weekend? Yeah. Guess what? Your
the
house
is empty. Come rob me.
Yeah, come rob
but
me.
anyway, so
Okay, yeah.
here's something that's I find.
Okay.
And this is, and I love I love making fun of cryptocurrency. That's just the way it is. Because it's some of the most non-back crap. But the U.S. says it seized millions in cryptocurrency meant to fund terrorist groups.
Yep.
Because you don't know where this money is at or how it's being controlled or anything.
Yep.
It's just on the web.
It's just out on the web. It's just
On
floating.
the web.
It's floating, footloose and fancy free.
Yeah.
And there are uses for it. And normally, the primary use I see for it is people having to use cryptocurrency to, pay the ransom on their websites that were hacked. Just seems like the thing to do. And if the fact that the kidnappers of your website and your code and your entire computer system at work are happy using cryptocurrency, that means terrorists are probably very happy using cryptocurrency as well. And that is what they discovered. And they went ahead and busted the accounts and were able to seize the assets and stop the flow of the money through this one avenue. Okay, but if anybody's got half a brain, they have more than one avenue. But it's millions that aren't going there now.
Yep.
And that's a good thing. But that also means that if somebody can crack that,
it can be cracked.
and it can be cracked. And that's the thing, is cryptocurrency is not supposed to be hackable. It's not.
Right.
The problem is the account you buy it through is hackable. And how do you hack it? Oh, gee, you get the access codes for the back of somebody's Android phone.
There you go.
And there you go.
Hawaii.
You find out where
Hawaii helped out.
allows you to hack
Hawaii. Thanks, Hawaii.
cryptocurrency.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So
there you go. Fun,
next
fun.
couple of stories, if we get them all in here. So, do you VR?
AR, augmented
AR?
reality.
Okay, so
Yep.
my son has the VR, right?
Yep.
And we're going to show a little video while we're going to talk over the video. So the problem with VR is when you start playing, right? You don't know really. You're not aware of your surroundings like you should be.
Right.
So there's nothing there.
Which
Well,
is why
this-
I do AR.
Right. So this little device, right? VR wire keeps you kind of, oh yeah, I can't keep going over there. I can't do this, right?
Yeah.
It keeps you a little bit.
It's
tethered.
a tether. It's a
So,
tether.
I just wanted to bring this up because
Yeah.
this is, to me, this is going to solve a lot of problems. Because I tell you what, every time I've tried to do this, I run into a wall, and my kids think it's funny.
Well, yeah.
Oh, let him trip over the beanbag.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Augmented reality is cool. That's what I have, and it allows you to still see the room around you.
Yeah.
But it superimposes stuff into the room.
Yeah.
And so you don't ever lose your actual spatial awareness with it.
Right. So I
yeah.
just think it's kind of cool.
Yep.
I wanted to talk about this one real quick. Now,
that's
I'm going to
neat.
jump back
What's next?
to this next thing is like, okay, so are you a Bond fan?
James?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
So,
Yes.
Okay, so you remember the iconic observation, the big
From GoldenEye.
Yeah, GoldenEye.
Yes.
That's real.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And SETI used to use it,
Yep.
right? Well, it
Yep.
mysteriously got broken.
I don't think it's that much of a mystery. When you look at the actual cable,
Yeah.
the cable did not snap. You know, they're saying the cable snapped and it came down and it crushed part of the thing.
I think
you know,
the aliens
something
came down and knocked it off.
Yeah, no, if you look at it, what it is when you have a steel cable, you get to the end, you loop it, okay, back on itself,
Recrimp it.
and then you crimp it with a really big, you know, set of bolts, cramps, everything else. From what I can see, that crimp came out. It looks like the crimp released right at
Lost
the
its
end.
grip.
And lost its grip. Okay, which could have been from corrosion. It could have been from just, you know, wind. And you're up there. You're in the wind. I'm sorry. Okay, that constant shaking. We have stall doors on the barn. Okay, you know, you slide them back and forth. I have to go out every month or two because the vibrations of moving them back and forth, the bolts loosen, and pretty soon the door just falls off.
Never cease.
Yeah, and well. Yeah, except I need to take them off every now and then. But,
never mind.
But that's the thing is just straight wind vibration over time will cause stuff like this to happen. Now, what happened? Now this radar dish is completely offline.
Right.
Okay, until
But
they
then
get it
they're
repaired.
hurrying to get it back on. So
Yeah.
because they do use
Yep.
it.
Because right now we can't tell if the aliens are attacking, and so you know depends on what you see outside. But if anybody invites you to go to a drive-in theater.
Oh my
as
God.
part of a boat parade, that's probably part of the alien
I want
invasion.
to do this. I would literally go buy a boat now. If I could go like every other week and go to a boat where I could go watch a movie, hell yes. That is so cool.
That would be kind of neat. I can see where, you know, visibility and everything, because you got some people got big canopies, some people got big boats.
Well, you put those people. Look,
yeah, you
smaller
put
boats
them
front,
in the back.
middle size, and then large boats.
Yeah. But you know, on the whole, it's a nifty, keen idea to allow people to stay in their own safe pods and still watch first-run movies. I mean, it's a drive-in theater, but it's probably more comfortable and
It's a row-in theater. Get it, row-in.
Yeah. Rowan and Martin's.
Yeah.
That's us.
All right. So anyway,
yeah.
but that's cool.
Oh, hey.
I'm hoping they're bringing it to us. That
there we
would be
go.
kind of neat.
Happiness.
We have another. Well, we're going to do another one, but we don't have time.
no,
for it.
we're out of
Hey,
time.
Anyway, got any questions? If you like the show, share the show. We know you got other stuff to watch,
Yep.
especially at 11 o'clock on a Monday morning. And, you know, look, share it. If you got any questions, text Shamans at WeBeamTV.com. We will see everybody next week.
Take care.
We got the plans 'cause we are the tech shamans. We understand 'cause we are the tech shamans. Dude, I got this cool thing to show you. Really, man? Yeah, it's far out and technical and stuff. Awesome. Yeah. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Cool.